Hello, everyone, and welcome to EVTN News. I have some, I don't know, maybe surprising news today, but I want to get to the rest of this week's news, and then maybe you'll see, obviously the big news is the SSPX, but we'll get to that at the end. And let's get into some of the other news. And I guess just kind of a precursor, if you are a hater of the SSPX, then you're probably not going to like this channel, and so no need to waste your time. Let's just start with Cardinal Cupich. Once again, Cupich has attacked the traditional Mass. On January 21st, 2026, Cupich wrote an article about, it was titled Liturgy, Tradition, Reform, Unity. Yeah, none of it is any good, but I'm just going to read just a little bit from it. He says, given the importance of the role of liturgy in the life of the Church, I want to share with you some of the points Cardinal Roche, prefect of the dicastery for the worship and discipline of the sacraments, made in the resource document he prepared. So he's talking about the consistory where Roche distributed a pamphlet against the traditional Mass. So Roche reminded us that from the earliest days of the Church, the liturgy has always undergone reforms, just not as radical as, not ever as radical as Vatican II. As he noted, the history of the liturgy, we might say, is the history of its continuous reforming in a process of organic development. Again, that wasn't the case at Vatican II. Why is ongoing reform so central to the liturgy? So basically, they need a Marxist principle, constant revolution. Ongoing reform, constant revolution, a Marxist principle. Wow. It is because the ritual component of the liturgy is characterized by cultural elements that change in time and places. Constant revolution. One other observation I found particularly compelling was Cardinal Roche's reference to St. Pope Pius V's motivation for reforming liturgical books in accord with the mandate of the Council of Trent. Again, no, he didn't reform. He just cut off all the innovative rites that had began. Let's see. It was his desire to preserve the unity of the Church. In issuing the Roman Missal of 1570, the saintly Pope affirmed that as in the Church of God there is only one way of reciting the Psalms, so there ought to be only one rite for celebrating the Mass. This principle of church unity is particularly significant for understanding the reasons Pope Francis issued Traditionis Custodes. He stated that he wanted to make clear the reform of the liturgy called for by the Second Vatican Council is the unique expression or the lex orandi of the Roman Rite. Again, as in keeping with his predecessor, St. Pope Pius V, there must be only one rite as a means of preserving the unity of the Church. So they basically want to destroy the traditional Mass. And I personally strongly oppose that. Okay. All right. Next. This is what we're dealing with here. On January 24th, Joseph Grundwittel was consecrated Archbishop during a solemn Mass in Vienna, Austria, after having been appointed by Pope Leo as successor to Cardinal Christoph Schonborn. During the consecration, elements not provided for in the liturgical text for the ritual were introduced. There's your innovation and your constant revolution, which appeared to express the modernist vision the new bishop holds regarding certain aspects of Christian life, nature, and structure of the Church. There are at least two elements that diverge from the prescriptions of the Roman pontifical during the consecration Mass. At the moment of the imposition of the book of the Gospels over the head of the bishop-elect, The rite specifies that this action is to be performed by 2 deacons. In this celebration, however, the gospel was held by 4 individuals, 1 deacon, 1 priest, and 2 female assistants. So there's one innovation. With regard to the female diaconate, Grundwittel has previously said that the discussion should not be suppressed and that it would be desirable to include women in the College of Cardinals and thus in the Pope's most important circle of advisors. Well, I think there's certainly men who would display effeminate characteristics, so it's pretty much the same. Anyway, during the Mass, a second irregularity concerned the handing over of the crozier, the pastoral staff of the bishop symbolizing his episcopal authority. According to the Roman Pontifical, the crozier is to be given directly to the bishop-elect by the consecrating bishop. In Vienna, the crozier was instead passed through several members of the assembly, including laymen, laywomen, priests, and deacons without a clear order, before being handed to the deacon, who then gave it to the consecrating bishop, and finally to the bishop-elect. So again, innovations in bishop consecration ceremonies. Supich wants to ban the Latin Mass. No, there's no crisis in the church. And Pope Leo concluded the week of prayer for Christian unity by declaring that different Christian faiths are already one. He said, "We are one. We already are. Let us recognize it. Let us experience it and make it visible." And this was to Anglicans. We are already one. We are already one with Anglicans. I mean, I don't believe that. Anyway, again, no crisis in the church. In the Belgian diocese, okay, I'm not even going to. Belgian diocese of Namur, Abbe Maurice Leonard, a former dean, has died at the age of 85. His death was announced last week by the diocese, where he was known as an open and socially committed priest, particularly due to his many years of service. He retired in 2015. In addition to the diocese's obituary, his family published a second obituary. His family. This notice mentions a companion, a certain Sylvie Race. It also lists 4 children of the heart and his beloved grandchildren. Yeah. Okay, another obituary has been published January 29th. And Abbe Mark, I don't think I can pronounce this. Oat Jacques, a longtime priest in the Andenne region, died on September 4th, 2025, at age 73, in a bicycle accident while returning from presiding over a Eucharist. The official diocesan obituary praised his decades-long commitment to the poor. According to a separate family published notice, again, the priest was mourned by Madeleine Dorgeot, identified as his companion. And also there was listed a daughter of the heart and son-in-law and his beloved grandchildren. And so celibacy appears to be optional in Belgium. I think there was, I think I talked about it maybe even last week, that someone proposed optional celibacy, and it appears that priests have, excuse me, priests have female friends, although how many of them have male friends and no children? That's another story. Maybe that's more for the bishops. Okay. So that's pretty much a real problem. Let's go to, all right. I have a screen to share with you. Okay. So this is a big story, and only Gloria TV has talked about it. I hope other news channels pick up on it. I know that it's the link here is to a German website, and I think it's behind a paywall, and so you'd have to pay for it and translate it. But maybe people could do some Googling and find this out. But I'm just going to read what you have, what you can see on the screen. The Vatican, so German layman Christoph Schalfert, a Saarland state legislator and deputy leader of the opposition party AFD, was removed in 2024 from the parish council of St. Marian in the Diocese of Trier because the church, the Todos Church, disagreed with his political role. Bishop Stephen Ackerman upheld the decision. So Schalfert must have appealed to the Vatican because the Vatican rejected his appeal, confirming the exclusion. So the Vatican is meddling in parish council matters. The German political party AFD is the supposed far-right party of Germany. They're not far-right. They just want to. They just oppose unlimited immigration. In fact, there's a woman who's the leader of the party. But this is actually very concerning that the Vatican is meddling in kicking out people because of their political parties, especially political parties that don't objectively oppose the Catholic faith. I mean, I could see that if there was something like kicking off Democrats on the parish council, like in the United States. I mean, I can understand that, but this is like in Germany, things are completely out of control. And, there's no crisis, right? No crisis in the church. I also believe that the German bishops have said they're going to wait for Pope Leo's comments before proceeding with their synodal way. They sent it to Leo, and they're going to they're going to wait for a little bit, maybe not for long. Okay. And the big news, okay, let's get to that as soon as I can. Oh, my computer's freezing. I'm not even sure about the stream at this point. Okay, there it is. Wow, maybe I need a new laptop. This one is from 2016. So what, 10 years? Wow, happy anniversary. I don't know. It's a inanimate object. Okay, on the Feast of Purification of Blessed Virgin, Reverend Father David Pagliarani, Superior General of the SSPX, during a ceremony of the taking of the cassock, which he presided over at the International Seminary of Saint Curie des Arts in France, publicly announced his decision to entrust the bishops of the society with the task of proceeding with new episcopal consecrations on July 1st. This will be one day after the anniversary of the episcopal consecrations in 1988. So he had sought audiences with Pope Leo, and so this will give him a chance at an audience with Pope Leo. So the SSPX are going to be consecrating new bishops, and they haven't been formally approved by Rome yet. But Father Pagliarani, the Superior General, he has made it clear that he wants to meet with Pope Leo before the consecrations occur. So this is, of course, I don't want to say negotiating tactic, but it kind of is, you know. It's going to generate a response from Rome. Now, I think everyone has seen where this is headed for many years, the hostility from the Vatican towards the traditional Mass. It's a little more, like Leo's not as vehemently anti-traditional Mass as Francis was, but he's still against it. I mean, just look at his comments where he said, oh, you can say the Novus Ordo in Latin. So I mean, he's not a fan. I don't know if he objected. I don't know if he, hates it, but he's not a fan, and he hasn't shown any interest in freeing the traditional Mass. In fact, he's appointed many bishops who are anti-Latin Mass. So, I mean, we have no end of this, no end of the crisis in sight. More and more bishops are appointed that are really, really bad. Not a lot of great bishops that are being appointed at this point. Most of them are highly questionable. And you know what? I want to say that I think the Co-Redemptrix document really pushed the SSPX to this point. I mean, I know that their bishops aren't getting any younger, but I think that it was the Co-Redemptrix document that made them decide that it's time to consecrate new bishops. And again, I said that if people are anti-SSPX, any viewers that are anti-SSPX, you're probably not going to like what I have to say leading up to the consecrations, but it's necessary to preserve the traditional Mass. It just is. And the Ecclesia Dei groups, once the SSPX goes through with this, and I mean, they'll presumably be excommunicated. Who knows if Kissy will do it? I think the traditionalist groups will face tougher restrictions and pushback from some of the bishops, and definitely the higher ups in the hierarchy. So that's something to watch for. Lots of opinions on Twitter, and I think that people that go on Twitter to tell people that they can't go to a Mass, that's just not cool. That's really not needed. And I don't think you need to worry about other people's spiritual lives, especially strangers on the internet. I mean, unless they ask for your opinions, certainly not wanted. But people are just gonna, and you're not really gonna change anyone's mind on the internet unless they're actually asking for your opinions again. But if they're not asking for your opinions, you're probably not going to change their mind. But I mean, whether you're calling a modernist heretic, it doesn't matter, because they're going to be stuck in their errors. So anyway, that's the news. I guess stay tuned for more information coming up. We'll see what happens. And I don't really know. It was a surprise, sort of, to see that this morning. I mean, I knew that there's a possibility. Thought maybe this year, and turns out it's right. And it's going to be a day after the consecration, the anniversary of the consecrations, Archbishop Lefebvre's 4 bishop consecrations in 1988. So, all right. Well, until next time, this has been EVTN News. Thank you so much for watching. We are the laity. We will not be silent.